versus Jake Paul just got Netflix sued.
The fight everyone thought would be the greatest showdown of modern combat sports turned into a circus, and now Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are facing the consequences. It was meant to be the battle of legends. Tyson, the ferocious boxing icon from the past, stepping into the ring against Jake Paul, the social media star turned boxer. Fans were promised an epic clash that would shake the world of combat sports to its core. But what they got instead was something entirely different, a staged spectacle that many are now calling the greatest con job in boxing history. And to make matters worse, the fallout is far from over, as both Tyson and Paul are staring down a $100 million lawsuit. In the world of combat sports, anticipation is often half the battle. The hype surrounding this fight was palpable. For months, fans watched the build-up with bated breath, imagining what it would be like to see Mike Tyson, the man who once ruled the heavyweight division, face off against Jake Paul, a man who had built his reputation on the internet. Paul, having fought his way through a string of YouTubers and former athletes, was now going up against one of the most feared names in boxing history. The stakes couldn't have been higher. For fans, it wasn't just a fight, it was the collision of two worlds, the past and the present, coming together in what was supposed to be an unforgettable event. Then came fight night. Fans packed the arena, their excitement palpable. Tickets had sold out, pay-per-view subscriptions surged, and social media was buzzing with predictions. Everyone was ready to witness something special. Tyson, even in his late 50s, was still considered a powerhouse, and Paul, though relatively inexperienced in the ring, was known for his knockout power. Fans expected fireworks, blood, and drama. What they got, however, was something closer to a reality TV show than an actual boxing match. From the very beginning, it was clear that something wasn't quite right. The fight lacked the intensity and competitiveness that one would expect from two men stepping into the ring, especially with so much on the line. Tyson, though still in remarkable shape for his age, appeared out of rhythm. Paul, on the other hand, didn't seem to have the aggression that had made him a somewhat controversial figure in the boxing world. Instead of trading punches, both fighters seemed to be going through the motions. There were a few jabs, some light exchanges, but nothing that truly felt like a competitive bout. At one point, Paul landed a clean jab, followed by a right hand that knocked Tyson off balance not once, but twice. The crowd reacted, thinking that the fight might actually pick up. But Tyson, known for his ferocity and knockout power, seemed completely off balance, both literally and figuratively. What was supposed to be a battle between two fighters at their peak, no matter their age or experience, quickly became a strange and awkward spectacle. The fans, who had spent their hard-earned money on tickets and pay-per-view access, began to realize that something was off. This wasn't the fight they had signed up for. What was supposed to be a thrilling contest was starting to feel more like an overproduced reality TV show, a low-budget spectacle designed for maximum drama, but little substance. The criticism came quickly. Social media exploded with outrage as fans took to platforms like Twitter and Instagram to express their disappointment. They felt cheated. After months of hype, they were left watching a staged disaster unfold before their eyes. Some even labeled it a con job, referring to the way the fight had been sold as a legitimate contest, only for it to devolve into what looked like a carefully orchestrated performance rather than an actual fight. To make things worse, the entire event felt like a missed opportunity. This wasn't just any fight, this was supposed to be the meeting of two icons, one, a legendary boxer, and the other, a social media star turned boxer. Fans had invested their time, money, and emotions into this moment, hoping for a fight that would live up to the hype. Instead, they got an underwhelming display that left them wondering if they had been duped. But it wasn't just the fans who were dissatisfied. The fight itself was a media spectacle, but not in the way it was intended. It was as though the entire event had been scripted for drama, with no real sense of competition or authenticity. Some fans, looking for a way to process their frustration, began to wonder if the fight had been rigged from the start. Could it be that the fight wasn't about proving who was the better boxer, but rather about creating a spectacle that would generate headlines and controversy. As if the situation couldn't get more outrageous, UFC President Dana White weighed in on the debacle. White, never one to shy away from controversy, called the fight the biggest con show he had ever seen. His comments were just another layer of salt in an already festering wound for both Tyson and Paul. Dana White, a figure synonymous with the UFC and combat sports, wasn't holding back. He expressed his disbelief at how the fight was marketed and how it turned out to be a farce. For White, this wasn't just another bad fight, it was a complete failure of expectations and a mockery of professional boxing. And he wasn't alone in his sentiments. The criticism grew louder, and it didn't take long for fans to demand some kind of accountability. This wasn't just about disappointment, it was about feeling like they had been misled. Fans had been promised a historic clash, a fight that would capture the attention of the entire sports world. Instead, they got a stage show, and the only thing that seemed genuine was their outrage. And then came the lawsuit. As the dust settled, fans took action, filing a massive $100 million lawsuit against Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, and the event organizers. The lawsuit alleges that the fight was falsely advertised, that fans were deceived into thinking they were buying tickets to a legitimate boxing match, only to be given a scripted event instead. The legal action was not just about the money, it was about holding those responsible accountable for what many saw as a betrayal of their trust. Fans had invested not just financially but emotionally into the fight. They were promised an unforgettable battle, and instead they got a carefully choreographed show that left them feeling defrauded. In the lawsuit, fans are claiming that they were tricked into paying for a product that wasn't delivered as promised. According to the legal documents, the defendants Paul, Tyson, and the event organizers misrepresented the nature of the fight. Fans were led to believe they were purchasing access to a legitimate, competitive boxing match, but what they got was an overproduced spectacle with little actual competition. This, the lawsuit argues, amounts to a breach of trust, and the fans deserve compensation for their disappointment. For Tyson and Paul, the lawsuit is just the latest chapter in what has been a whirlwind of controversy. The two fighters had hoped that this event would solidify their legacies in the world of combat sports. Instead, they find themselves at the center of a legal storm that threatens to overshadow everything else. For Tyson, the fight was an opportunity to prove that he still had what it took to compete at a high level. For Paul, it was an attempt to add a heavyweight legend to his growing list of victories. But now, instead of basking in the glow of success, both fighters are dealing with the fallout from what many consider to be a massive failure. The $100 million lawsuit is just the beginning. The public backlash, the criticism from figures like Dana White, and the disappointment of the fans have all contributed to a narrative that paints the fight as an embarrassing disaster. It's a far cry from the epic showdown that was promised, and now both Tyson and Paul must face the consequences of their actions. In the end, the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of overhyping an event and failing to deliver. It's a reminder that when fans invest their time and money into something, they expect it to live up to the promises made. When it doesn't, the fallout can be swift and severe. For Tyson and Paul, the $100 million lawsuit is just the tip of the iceberg. If they hope to salvage their reputations and continue their careers in the boxing world, they're going to need to do a lot more than just throw punches. This fight was supposed to be a historic moment in the world of combat sports, but instead it will likely be remembered as a cautionary tale about the dangers of spectacle over substance. Whether the lawsuit succeeds or not, one thing is clear. This fight has left a permanent stain on the reputations of Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.